Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I have this intro into fall makeup look, and if you guys want to see how I did it, then just keep on watching. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. So in this look I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Renaissance palette along with some Makeup Geek eyeshadows. So once again, if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to go into my Anastasia Renaissance palette, and I'm going to take Raw Sienna, and Raw Sienna is going to be my brow bone color. So I'm just placing that on the highest points of my brows. Next, I'm going to take Burnt Orange from the same palette with a big fluffy blending brush, and I'm just placing this into my crease as my transition color. Next shade, I'm going to take Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek, and I'm just placing this shade into my crease. Then I'm going to take red ochre, and I'm using, what kind of brush is this? Another Jessup brush, and I'm applying this into my crease and making sure that I blend towards the inner part of my lid to the outer part. Then next I'm going to go in with the same blending brush to blend out those colors. Then I'm going to use my eyeshadow primer by NYX and apply that to my lid and blend out with my finger. And then I'm going to take, I think this is pronounced Venetian Red from the same palette, and I'm using a Sedona Lace eyeshadow brush, and I'm placing this on the inner and outer portions of my lid. Then I'm going to blend upwards towards my crease. Next, I'm going to take Cherry Cola from Makeup Geek, and I'm using a small pencil brush to just define and darken the inner and outer portions of my eye. Then I'm going to use another fluffier brush. I believe this is by Morphe brushes, and I'm using a little bit of that same color and just going with that same shade into my crease, as well as blending out the inner and outer portions of my eye. Next, I'm going to go back in with the color Venetian Red. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'm just reapplying those colors onto the lid. Next, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to dibble in the shade Primavera, and I'm just dotting that into the center of my lid. So this is like a halo type eyeshadow look. Now onto my face. It was already primed. I believe I used the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector, and then I'm going to use my Anastasia foundation stick in the shade Walnut, and I decided to apply it with a brush. So I'm just using a flat Jessup foundation brush and just applying this to my face. And I've been using this foundation for a while now, and I've been applying it with a brush lately, and I think I like it better applying with a brush. You don't use as much product and you get more coverage. For my concealer, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I believe I'm using the shade Deep, or it could be Dark. I think I'm using the shade Dark, and I'm just applying that in the normal areas where I highlight. Then I'm going to blend out with my Black Beauty Blender and blend out that concealer. Next, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and apply that to the areas where I applied the concealer. And then I'm going to leave a bit under my under eye to finish the under eye of my makeup. For my under eye, I use the same vintage eyeshadow by Makeup Geek, and I just applied that on my lower lash line. And then I went in with Cherry Cola, which is by Makeup Geek, and I applied that closer to my lash line. Now onto my nose contour. I am using my Nicka K duo contour powders, and I used the lighter shade to contour my nose. I've used it in previous videos. I'm using Jessup brush to contour my nose, and then for my cheekbones I'm going to use my Black Radiance contour palette. To set my entire face, I believe I used my Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade 360 to set my entire face. And then for my blush, I used my MAC Fever. I've had this blush for years. I think this was my first MAC blush. I've had it for years, and I just decided to bring that out. And then to highlight, I used my NYX Bright Idea illuminating stick, and I applied that with my beauty blender, and I really like the way that it shows up when you apply it with your beauty blender. So that's what I did there. For my lips, I use Wood Rose by Santa. You can get this at your beauty supply store for like $1. And then I use my Tarte Tarteist lip paint in Frenemy. So I used the Wood Rose to line my lips, and then Santa to fill in the rest. And I really like the combo. The Tarteist lip paint is really long lasting, and it's very creamy and feels comfortable on the lips. And this is the completed look. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and like this video or even share it. I appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you're new, hello and welcome to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye guys.